Good evening, Podium Chasers. I hope you are all well. Welcome back to the police station. Great to see everybody in so far in the live chat. So Shuffy's in, Dow's in. Dow saying he's having some issues tonight. Okay. But I thought earlier on, Dow, you wanted me to solely focus on you. So we shall see. We'll see what the gods decide. Michael Race is in. He hopes it goes to an Opti track. Brizzle's in as well. So it's great to see you guys in. Welcome. This is, of course, the Formula Racing League Super Sprint Series on PC. So what does that mean? Well, quite simply, it's two extremely mad sprint races, 25-minute sprint races. We only have a very short 10-minute qualifying session between them as well. And last week was my first one in this particular format. And I have to say, it was epic. Of course it was. So I'm very sure we're at Laguna Seca this evening. So this is only Series 1 still, remember. But it's round 5 this evening at Laguna Seca. And I'm pretty sure it is going to serve us up an absolute beast. Which I am very much looking forward to. So just a little bit of a coffee cheers there. Beautiful. Just the right temperature at the moment. So we are currently in free practice, as you will all be aware. Is the sound all good, chaps? Let me know, please. If you're hearing me coming through loud and clear, that would be fantastic. And I will pop over to something else. There we go. Right, so Van Rees is in the pits at the moment. Now I did pop a question out because we've got this individual in today, Junior Hughes, is run DJC Racing, the 212. Anybody who's ever done anything with Formula Racing League will be aware of whose number and vehicle that belongs to, and that is JR Lock and Load. Now I don't know if that is the livery that he's put on this evening. I did ping a message over to one of our admins earlier. Because I am aware that I think we run this really great piece of software in the background, and you just sync it up, and if people have loaded up their liveries correctly, it should automatically load it into the system. But I'm actually acutely aware that I don't think everybody's is coming through. So I say, Chris Schneider on the moment with number 14 BMW, again, looks a pretty stock livery, so that is something I will look into for the next stream on Friday. But I'm sure it's totally fine. Sure, it's totally fine. No one said anything yet in terms of a sound check, but we do have 10 watching, so welcome everybody. Again, we're in free practice. Once free practice is over, we will of course move into that 10-minute qualifying session. The amount of people we're going to have on track, finding space at Laguna Seca is never an easy task at any point, let alone when we've got only a short 10-minute session and then it's all sprints. So yeah, it's going to be good to know. In terms of the grid for this evening, we've got quite a few that are with us. Tadima's in, Van Rees is in. We're just going to watch Chris Schneider doing a few laps at the moment. Michael Races is in. Hughes, obviously, JR's in as well. We're watching Chris Schneider. John Beaton's in at the moment. Cameron Martin, Eli Poe. These names are going to become very familiar to everybody as we go through the different race nights that we do at Formula Racing League. Goswell had a really good race last week, actually, and he did DM me afterwards, so thank you, Goswell, I appreciate that. Freeman's in. Albuquerque was also had a interesting race last week at the front of the pack. Got caught up in some incidents, dropped to the middle of the pack and fought his way back through for a sort of top middle finish. If you like, Goodway's in. Obviously, we said that already. Kerikes is in. Manetskovsky is also with us in the BMW. Ivanov's in. Woodward, Neil, is in the 999 McLaren, as always. Hopefully, you won't need to call that number this evening. Thompson's in. Williams is also racing with us tonight. Mr. James Williams, fantastic to see him in there. Dow's in, although Dow's having some incidents apparently, so we'll have to see how he gets on with those during the race. Hopefully, nothing too bad. Lurches is also back in with us this evening in the 93 Bentley. Sergio Oz in the 503 AMG is in. Manurm, that's a new one on me. So Manurm's in the 32 Audi. That's good to see. Always good to see new names. We love having new names in. And then Sokolov, that is currently who is out on track. Let's see if there's anyone else hiding in the pits. Mika Finkbeiner, we'll get that one straight as well, is currently in the pits. And has not showed up on the timing screens as yet. So everybody in the live chat, please let's have some predictions. Who do we think? I mean, I did spend a bit of time on track actually on Sunday on this particular practice server, just to see what kind of times we were able to do, and obviously I spend most of my time talking on this thing rather than driving out there, but it was I wasn't too far off the pace actually. I don't mean I was on the pace, obviously not, I don't get to put in as much time for that, but I was within 2.5 seconds of what certain Michael races were putting out there, so I think for a standing point that's not a bad shout. He'll probably say I'm lying now, but anyway, Brizzle, Shuffy, can you give me a shout on the audio, please, chaps? I would very much appreciate that. So, in terms of the sprint race, you might be thinking, wow, yeah, I mean, what does that actually mean? You know, I know we've said it's 2 25-minute races. There are no pit stops. Obviously, if you are aware of how we normally operate within Formula Racing League, it's normally longer races, an hour to 2 hours, and then special one-off events and long endurance events, where there's obviously usually 1 or 2 mandatory stops involved in that. That won't be the case this evening. So no mandatory stop whatsoever. It is just literally lights to flag, pedal to the metal, full throttle chaos, done as serenely as possible. Yeah. You want me to go in car, Briz? I will go in car, mate. 1 second. There you go. I am in car. Let me know. Similar settings to last week, but if they need a tweak, I'm happy to do that, of course. I want you guys to have the best viewing experience and audio experience possible. I shall wait for Brizzle to give me an update. We will obviously do a full lap guide. We do that every single time we go live, as you guys will all be aware. And we're just going under my particular bridge there, Cooper's Tyres. I really should have more money in the bank than I do, actually, I think. You know, you've got Cooper's straight up brands. We've got, you know, Cooper's Tyres bridge. It's terrible, terrible. I need to look at that. All good, your end. Thank you, Fresh. I appreciate you checking that for me, buddy. Obviously, this is the FRL coffee delivery device. We've got to obviously put that on there, show that to everybody. And obviously, I'm also wearing a bit of FRL merch this evening in terms of t-shirt as well. Anybody interested in getting their hands on some of that fantastic stuff to help support the league and the channels, please have a look at the website, formularacingligue.co.uk. Everything is on there, all the different series we run, Patreon merch, fastest laps, lap records, literally anything you can think of is on there. And then also make sure you like what you're watching this evening, guys. If you would please do so, it helps the YouTube channel out massively. Any likes or subs are always very, very welcome. Of course they are. Right, let's get back onto some action. Right, let's have a look at Helicam. So, what's Laguna like? We've got about 5 minutes left of free practice. So, Laguna is a track. Well, you're all into sim racing, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. So, Laguna's a track. It's really technical. There's a lot of places I think you can overtake at Laguna, and generally speaking, there's some decent braking zones within Laguna as well. Evidently, we don't need to mention the corkscrew, but I mean, seeing as we get into it, we might as well have a quick look, see what it looks like from this point of view. So, really quick left-hander there. You've got to be really brave through that one. We'll do all this in the lap guide, of course, on the run up the hill. And then we've got the corkscrew. Such an iconic corner, and so difficult to actually get right. You've really got to appreciate just how much skill is involved in putting one of these cars around the track at a half decent pace and keeping it on track. I really mean that. That's not just me, you know, blowing smoke anywhere. I really do mean that. So Michael Races had a fantastic couple of results last week, and he is in again for Red Kings Motorsport in the number 91 BMW there. So Tadima's currently quickest time in free practice of a 1:23.260, followed pretty swiftly by another Porsche. Interesting to see the dynamics on how those vehicles handle around here, especially with them being so aero dependent. very, very sensitive in terms of weight transfer, especially with corners like the corkscrew. So a lot of very, very gentle inputs there. You don't want to be soaring away at the steering wheel here, certainly not. But yeah, Van Riesen, the other Porsche, 57 Porsche, is about 10th and a half down. Michael is coming up to complete lap. He's 2 tenths further back at the moment. And then Locker Load, well, Locker Load's just under 3 tenths down. So that is interesting, as Michael currently sets the quickest time in free practice, a 23 flat. Chris Schneider again in 5th place, but is 8 tenths further back. Cameron's a 2nd, and then we've got John, who's just a smidge further back from that. Eli's an 8th, Freeman's 9th, and Goswell currently making up your top 10. So I know these bits don't count for massive things. Don't worry, first thing in the morning I'm going to be purchasing some merch, and I'll sub. Thank you very much, Brandon. I really appreciate that, dude. Brandon, are you racing? Are you supporting someone? Or have you just stumbled across the stream? I'd be very interested to know that. And King Phoenix is in retracting his message. King Phoenix was very nice to me last week, actually, so I'm hoping for more of the same, please. That would be great. Yeah, so if it's first time anyone watching or actually participating, if you watch this back afterwards, COMMS by Coops me. Do an awful lot of commentary for Formula Racing, and have done for many months, predominantly on the console side of things, but ported over, like everyone else seems to be at the moment, to concentrate on the PC. So I will host the Super Sprint Series on a Tuesday, and I also host the GT3 Fridays, Pure Sim Gear GT3 Fridays, surprisingly on a Friday. Yeah. And other bits in between. Podcast Wednesday, try and get on a Sunday for a bit of practice here and there where I can. But yeah, it keeps me busy. It certainly does. Right, so Michael pulls over there. We are just going to finish. A couple of minutes left now. So Tadema takes a wander across the gravel there, as you can see. So there's Chica's 55. Okay, so maybe it's because the guys weren't actually in. Let's see if that's changed. No. So Locker Load. Hughes. You'll have to forgive me. I'm used to these guys from the console side of things. That's an impressive time from Cameron there, currently in 6th place. But wait till you see this get going. This is going to be absolute chaos when we get into qualifying, because you're going to have 23, 24 individuals all straight out the bag. You've got to get the laps done, so that you're going to assume that they're going to be putting enough fuel in to get 2 or 3 laps done, or maybe enough for certainly an out lap, maybe 2 hot laps. Potentially come back in, tweak those tyre pressures if they're not exactly in the right window, and then straight back out again. So we will have to wait and see what transpires there, but we won't have long to wait. I know that much. So everybody in the live chat, I hope your Tuesday has gone well. Anything good happened today? Share the love. Pop it in there if you want a shout out to anybody. If there's some exciting news, pop it in there. Nothing too depressing, like, you know, you want to be a fan. That's really sad, I suppose, isn't it, really? But yeah, anything. Let's share the news. We like to do that within FRL. Dow's had a little wander off the track there, so we go into the wait time. Yeah, might as well go up there. Might as well see how good a control this helicopter chap has. How long you can just pause there for. Probably a while. There is no Ferrari. You would be correct, King Phoenix. Well spotted. There is no Ferrari. So what have we got? Beamers, Porsches, Astons, Honda. Interesting. McLarens. The obligatory Bentley. That has to be in there. And we've got an Audi in there as well. So that is a really good point, Phoenix. I've never not seen a grid with no Ferrari in it. I don't think the Ferrari is actually too bad around Laguna, to be fair. Interesting. Right, 10 with us. If you're wondering why we've just sat here, we are in the wait time, so free practice has currently just finished. You can see there on the left-hand side, Michael Races set the quickest time in free practice with a 1:23 flat. And then Tadema, well, a couple of Porsches just behind. Hughes, who's jumped in the scene, great to see him in here, in the 212 Beamer, half a second almost. And then Chris Schneider's 8 tenths. Cameron Martin a full second off the pace. So if going by what I did the other day, I would be in a Thompson Williams sandwich. Oh, blimey. Not sure I'd want to be in that sandwich, if I'm honest. As everyone's having a little chat, I headbutt... Sorry, Mike. Headbutted him there, didn't I? Right, come on, let's get qualifying. Let's get qualifying going. Interesting. So we're just going to wait until qualifying gets started. You can see clearly it says qualifying has started. The timer has started to count down, but we are completely frozen right now. So maybe this is a... Did someone mention... Michael Races talking about potential money on there. So prediction for both races says King's Phoenix is Michael Races is going to finish P1, Tadima P2, Van Rees P3. Podium chance for Eli Junior and Kerriquez. It's not a bad shout. I think Mr. Hughes is going to be right up there. And Eli, I mean, I've watched Eli for an entire season, and Eli is normally... It's normally Eli and Michael, to be fair. There's only normally a tenth and a half between them, so I'm expecting that one to come through. I need to know what's going on with this, though. Why is everything paused? Oh dear. Well, as you can see, there's a beautiful picture there of Ian flying. There's someone take a picture of that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful picture. Where's Kerriquez? He's not flying anywhere, so I think we've definitely got some issues in the server. It's probably going to end up being a server reset, which is more than unfortunate, I'm afraid. So we'll just wait and see exactly what's going to happen. Cars have been reset. James. Very odd. This is one of those beautiful live TV moments, isn't it, really? Where we need to decide what's going on, but we don't know. So whilst I'm going to just ping a message over on Discord and just see what is happening, whether we're going to have a complete reset of the server, which is totally fine if we do. Either that, we're having a fantastic qualifying set. I did say it was a sprint race, and they've all finished their session already. You just blink and it's done. Yeah, I'm not surprised there's only 5 of you with me at the moment. I do apologise for that. One second, let me go in there. Well, there isn't loads of messages. There isn't loads of messages in Discord, to be honest, saying that there are major issues, which I'm a bit surprised about. I would have thought that we'd have people in there, to be fair. So let's return to garage. You can quite clearly see we have definitely got some issues going on here. Server is working. Okay, let's try that one. Thank you, Phoenix. Let me see. Right, let me come out of that. Let me log back into the server and let's see if that kind of shakes everybody's head. Let's reconnect. Well, maybe they just didn't like me doing the comms, and maybe it's a bit of mutiny. Well, there we go. Right, thank you very much, the Nut Need and King Phoenix. Yeah, it was probably me. Oh well. Right, let's get back on with the action then. So, here's me sat here like a lemon for about 10 minutes. Just reconnect that. Right, we are good to go. So, we are now back. We are now in qualifying. We have missed 5 minutes of qualifying, unfortunately. I do apologise for that, ladies and gents, but we've got 5 minutes 30 seconds left. So currently Michael, as you can see, has replicated that particular time that he did from free practice, a 1:23 flat, smidge quicker. Tadima, who we're watching at the moment, is currently in second place. Hugh's third. Those two are about half a second behind. Van Ries is just a smidge behind them as well. In fact, Van Ries has just gone potentially P2 there, and he's only 85 hundredths off Michael Race's time. Beaton's in fifth, half a second off the pace. Chris Schneider, as Tadima takes a little wander there. Where's Chris Schneider? There he is. Let's see what he's going to do. So Chris Schneider's going to cross lines. He's going to improve. He's currently 9 tenths off the pace. So he starts a quick one. Let's get on board with him. You know what? Let's not get on board with Chris Schneider, because I need someone a little bit further back if we're going to do our full lap guide as we always do. But let's just have a quick rundown before we jump on board with someone. So I think Bean is in 6th. That's impressive in the 220 Porsche. It's just over 7 tenths behind Michael's time there. Cameron Martin 8th in the Beamer, 9.5 tenths. Chris Schneider, who we're watching at the moment, it's only 20 thousandths further back from him. Kerikes is 10th in the Honda. Freeman is 11th in the 83 Aston there, nearly 1.3 tenths. Goodway's in the pits in his 34 McLaren. He is 1.3 off the pace as well. Sergio Oz in 13th, Ivanov 14th, and then we've got in 32 Audi is Manurm, I hope I pronounced that correctly, is in 15th. Albuquerque 16th. James Williams is in 17th currently. Thompson's 18th. Woodward 19th. Lurchie's 20th. Dal 21st. Sokolov 22nd. And Eli is currently at the back there, and Payne has also joined the serve by the look of it, back there in 24th place. So let's get on board with Eli. Let's see what Eli does in this lap. So what we've got left at the moment, two and a bit minutes. So Eli's going to get another lap in. And, well, because we've had those server issues, probably at my end, actually, thank you to everybody on YouTube for letting me know that and giving me a quick fix on it. We will get a lap guide in. It will be probably the last lap of the qualifying session, but hey. Okay, so down the start, finish straight. So we've got a slight left kink here. There's no lift at all. We're going to stay close to the wall on the left-hand side. Then we're going to move to the right slightly down towards the Andretti hairpin. Double left-hand out. Get on those brakes now. We're going to trail all the way in. Now we're going to coast a bit. Pick up the throttle slightly. Keep it tight to that apex. Then we're going to push. Using all the exit. Not taking too much of the gravel there. Up to here. On the brakes. Down into second. Again, we've got to make sure we take as much of that curve as possible. Missing that sausage curve. And then this one, we're just going to back off. Don't down change here, we just back off, just allow the car to coast in, make sure we've got the correct line through there, and then under Mother's Bridge, on the brakes into second, get the car tucked in again. Important to get on the throttle early here, because now we're in a position where we're moving up towards the interesting part of the track. So dab of the brakes down a gear, absolutely throw the car in, use the divot in the track there to help the car grip up, so you've really got to throw her in there. On the run up to the corkscrew, just before there, we're on the brakes down into first, get it tucked in. You've really got to kind of straighten the car between the two corners, just so that you don't get any oversteer. Obviously the car's going to go light and all the directional changes are going to happen there. Into the penultimate corner, on the brakes, down a gear, get it tucked in, and then onto the power. Nice and simple on this left hand out. We're going to trail all the way down into first gear, apex, and then we're going to sprint to the line. So what's Eli going to do? 1.4 off the pace at the moment. Eli improves to 11th. Interesting. So Michael Races currently still your provisional pole sitter. We've got 15 seconds left of the qualifying session, so people need to be getting across that line. Where's Van Ries? So Van Ries is, wow, Van Ries is really close, isn't he? Let's have a we'll see what happens. Although the qualifying session should be finishing now, which it has. So this is really important for Van Ries. Let's see just how committed he is on this last lap. You just hear him dropping down the gearbox there. Porsche's got such fantastic acceleration and grip, but she will bite. She will bite you very, very hard. And as you saw then, I did say to use the divot, which is the correct thing to do. And it would also appear that Hughes has had an off as well. So those two aren't going to improve. Where's Tadema? Let's see if Tadema can improve going through the corkscrew. Can he keep that in shape? Looks like it. Nope. Obviously, it had an off track there, so that's that one done. So it does look that there is your setup for the first 25 minutes of serene driving, which we're going to see in a few moments' time. Michael races. Eli could have something to say about that, although I'm not sure Eli's going to go that far up. No, Eli has decided to finish as well. So Michael races with a 1:22.782. Great time from you, Michael. Takes pole position. Congratulations. Van Ries in the Porsche's second. And then we've got Hughes is going to start third. Tadema fourth. Martin's going to start fifth with Chris Schneider. Then we've got Beaton and Kerriker seventh and eighth. Finkbeiner ninth. Freeman's going to be 10th. Goswell just outside the top 10 there. And the number 8 AMG. Eli's going to be 12th. Goodway 13th alongside Woodward. Then we've got Sergio Oz and Albuquerque are going to be 15th. And 16th. Ivanoff and Manum 17th and 18th. Williams and Thompson 19th and 20th. And then we've got Lurchies and Dow, Sokolov and Payne. There is your grid for this first. Dear commentator, I do work shifts, so I'll be missing every second week. Okay, mate. Do you have something for the likes of me? Chris, we've always got stuff for the likes of everybody. You should know that, buddy. I will have to check, evidently. But there's nothing to say that you can't get involved as a reserve. Also, I think what you should do, Chris, is, and I'm sure you are already involved with FRL, because I recognise that name, is send Keddy or Dell a message, yeah, and just let them know what the situation is. Because if you want to do it on PS5, that's fine. Or obviously, if you've got access to PS4 or PS5, obviously you could jump on board with the Taco series as well. And that's obviously every Tuesday, and people always reserve for those. And generally speaking, you will be able to get a seat, so that could work quite nicely for you. Worth definitely having a look at there. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. 7 in at the moment. We are in the wait time for this first 25-minute sprint this evening. It's going to be bonkers. I know it is. And I just hope it's going to be clean. I'm just imagining everybody into the Andretti hairpin on lap 1, probably 4 wide. Get those elbows. Get those elbows greased up nicely anyway. No worries, Chris. No worries, mate. Yeah, definitely check it out, Chris. Or DM me. Yeah, drop me a message if you're in our Discord, and I can have a look for you. It's fine, mate. No problem. So 48 seconds to go. We're going to have a full formation lap as always. Please remember, goddamn green track. Michael, stop blaspheming. Say those words. Green track. You'll be alright, mate. I take it you're telling me, is it a green track now? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Indeed. Right, Helicam. Let's go back a little bit. Let's pick... Who should we pick today? Let's pick Finkbeiner, because we don't know this chap yet. That's always great. Who drives for Mika. Happens to be the same first name, which is cool. In the 220 Porsche. Let's see what this individual is all about. Let's have a check out his livery a bit more as we get the formation lap underway. Right, ladies and gents, I hope you're ready. Tuesday, a little bit of a crazy sprint fest is coming up. 25 minutes around Laguna Seca. I'm already hot, and I'm not even driving today. I'm sure these guys are going to be feeling it as well. Look at the livery on that Porsche. You're not going to miss that one. again, I mentioned it the other day, Gamer Dad would be very impressed with that Porsche. He runs some of the leagues on the PS4 side, and he just loves pink. Always got pink on those cars. But let's see what happens this evening. So, single file. Let's get the heat cycles into those tyres, into those brakes. Yes, King Phoenix T1. I know. I can't wait. I think it's going to be epic. I really do think this is going to be epic. I mean, there's, it's such a tight left-hander. It's, you got to be so balanced. I mean, they're not going to be full fueled, are they? Because it's only a 25-minute sprint race, but the tyres will still be an issue there, and obviously racing pride. So we're going to be in for quite a start to this race, I believe. So you see them all get back on the track. Who's going off? Is that Martin? That was Cameron Martin. Just not a wonder. Just picked up a little bit of gravel. Maybe he's been watching iRacing. Maybe I don't know. I'm just putting it out there, guys. I've seen some interesting stuff out on YouTube recently about some interesting hacks in certain other games, which is not great. Anyway, through the corkscrew again. This will be the slowest time they come through here this evening, unless they're having themselves a bit of an incident. So they're soon going to start to all form up 2 by 2. Also, cheers. Enjoy the race, everyone. Right, who do we fancy? Who do we fancy is going to try a move from the beginning? Don't know. I know it's going to be chaos. I know that much. Okay, I'm going to come away from the live chat for now so we can concentrate. 10 of you in. Really appreciate that, guys and girls. If you haven't pressed like, please do. It means a lot to the channel. Sit back. Enjoy. Enjoy. Let's go. Right, here we go then. So the Formula Racing League Super Sprint Series Season 1, Round 5 at Laguna Seca is about to get underway. Right, let's have a look at this angle. So they're underway. You can see there, you can definitely see we've got some challenges. So Michael's managed to get himself a little bit of free air, which is all good as they pile into T1. Anything happening at the moment? We've got 3 wide down there. Oh, we've got some people turning around. Who was that? Eli? Was that Freeman? So Eli's off the track. You can see that. That's unfortunate for Eli, but out up front, no further changes there at the moment. I think Beanaz is having a very nice little battle there, isn't he? Yes, he is indeed. Let's get on board. Let's start seeing some of that. Oops. So absolutely hammer it through there. Let's get a nice idea of what's going on. So Beaton's in front as we go up towards the corkscrew for the first time. It's got to be so. Oh, don't touch. Did they touch? Did they touch? That's the question. And he gets all out of shape then. So it's obviously can sometimes be quite difficult when you're trying. Oh, and then there's a touch there. So the 83. So that was Freeman. Looked like Freeman just went into the back. Let's have a look. So as they come in there. Oh, Freeman, yeah, I mean, there was no room there, was there, at all? So that, I'm pretty sure that was not Fink Beaner's fault, unfortunately. But as these things do happen into Dima, and looks like him and Cameron have also had a little bit of an excursion there. So Michael Race is currently out in the lead. He's pulled a 1.7 second gap already back to Van Ries. Hughes is still in 3rd place. He's only sort of half a second behind. Dima's 3/10. Then we've got Martin Goswell's come from 11th, I believe, up to 6th. That's a great start from him, and Goodway's also taken advantage of that and has gone to 7th. So let's get on board. Let's get on board with Goswell for now. And let's have a look back from Goswell. As you can see, you've got those 4 just in front, not too far away. Let's have a little listen to that rather dirty Mercedes engine. Yeah, totally, King Phoenix. I agree with you what you're saying there in that comment. There was definitely a coming together more than one as we watched them fly through the corkscrew. Again, what a great view that is. It really does give you an idea of just the directional changes of the cars, and I think from this low down perspective it also gives you a really good idea of how the weight transfer happens as well. So I was going to say kudos to Kunos, but I'm not using the Kunos software, am I? Okay, so back up top, Michael, 2.5 seconds clear. So he's taken advantage of the fact he's got a clean start. He's not worrying about anyone else. He's just pumping those lap times in. He's just done a 23.292. However, Tadema in the Porsche, who's in 4th place, has just done a 23.795, which is the quickest lap of the race. Obviously, Michael's was slightly invalid there. So Van Ries in 2nd place. He's got company. He's definitely got company. JR. So let's go on board with JR. Now, Lock and Load, fantastic driver. I've had the pleasure of racing with and commentating on JR for a long time, actually. I know he's really busy within AOR at the moment, but it's great to see him come back over to FRL and get involved in our Super Sprint series at the moment. So it's always good to see people come back. And he is always very complimentary about this, which is always nice. So we've got... So JR is in a Porsche sandwich at the moment. Van Ries in front and Tadema behind. And again, this is something I do point out quite a lot. When you're in the middle of a sandwich like that, it's really difficult because yes, obviously he's trying. He's really trying hard. He wants to get past Van Ries. Of course he does. But you can see there, Tadema is... Wow, Tadema's very, very close. Very close, actually. As they come down towards Andretti hairpin yet again. See if they take the same line through here. You would expect that. You can see there Tadema goes initially a lot tighter through there, so whether that's going to have more of an effect on tyre wear towards the end of this 25 minutes, who knows. As they continue their battle. What a nice battle we've got going on here. So yeah, I mean, JR's in a predicament, isn't he? So he wants to get past Van Ries. Of course he does, but obviously he's got Tadema all over the back of him and he's made a move. Van Ries went quite defensive there, and that is going to allow... He gets the move done. So JR, Lock and Load, passes Van Ries into 2nd place, so he's now got to try and make up 3 seconds to Michael, but now that's obviously put Van Ries in a position, because you can see Tadema's nose is just jinking out all over the place there, so he is obviously having trouble as well. So we've got a Porsche fest going on here. As Tadema looks to take a slightly wider line there so we can cut back across. Going to get on the brakes now, down a gear, get it tucked in. It's all about flow. It really is about the flow and momentum at Laguna. Just showing his nose slightly there. So again, just deploying all of the little racecraft tricks that you can to try and put that other individual off. And that is a FRL Mercedes just up in front. Is that James? Potentially, yeah, number 41. That's James Williams there, just getting out of the way. So James may have got into an incident earlier on, which would have been really unfortunate because that means his race is done very, very earlier on. So further down the field, so Michael's just set the quickest lap of the race at 23 flat. So he looks like he's getting into his groove. We'll keep an eye on that delta between Michael and Hughes there. It's 4.1 seconds at the moment. We're watching the scrap with Van Ries and Tadema and Hughes, but also just look just behind them. Cameron is only a second further back, and then John in his Aston, the 987 Aston FRL racing team, he's not too far off either. So all to play for. Further back down, so Goodway's in 8th. So he's also within 8 tenths as we get this beautiful shot of the corkscrew. We can see them all filing through there. Look at the way the cars just change with that undulation in the road. It's absolutely fantastic. And when you're watching it, it's brilliant. But when you're driving the car itself, there's nothing like it. As Tadema gets the back end out there, so obviously took a little bit too much speed through there. Just took a little bit of gravel, not enough to put pay to his race. It's certainly going to give him a couple of dirty tyres for a corner or two. Live chat. No, nothing in there. That's good. It sounds like you're all busy watching this, which is what I like to see. So Albuquerque's got up to 9th, which is great from him. Eli's up to 10th, still 3.5 seconds further back. That's not like Eli. Eli came from the back of the grid last week to 4th, if you remember. It's a fantastic race. Kerrick's 11th. Oz is in 12th. They're all pretty close. We'll have a look at them in a minute. Then we've got Thompson, who's 13th. Finkbeiner ignore that. The pit lane isn't open because there's no pit stops. But I think you have to put one in on the server anyway. So I think Biner's 14th, obviously got caught up at the beginning of the race, which was really unfortunate. Dow's in 15th. Wilms, Caskanova's in. We'll have a look at him in a minute in the 26 Audi. He's in 16th. Closely followed by Freeman, 6/10, really closely followed by Payne in his Bentley, he's 18th. Chris Schneider, wow, we need to get on that. Then we've got Woodward, Ivanov's Grace, and Sokolov. So, is James even on? And James, and then we've got Manum and James are 24th and 25th, respectively. So, let's have a look at our man, Mr. Wilms, Cascanova, driving for Red Kings Motorsports, heavily involved on the console side, evidently got the bug, the same bug we all have. And is now over on PC, which is absolutely great to see. You can see he's having a scrap here with Freeman. You can see him all over the back of him in the rear view mirror there. Oh, and someone's had an off there. Who was that? Dow. So Dow's just absolutely binned it. Dow's just binned it on the corkscrew. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that Aston just got unsettled there, and away she went. So that's unfortunate. But I did catch it, Dell. He'll thank me for that later. He will thank me for it. He likes it. Right, look at the scrap we've got going on here. So, Freeman's got passed, and then we've got Payne. So that's the Bentley just behind at the moment. Ivanov. So this is good. This is good little scrap going on here. As well, so we've got 15 minutes left. We've just done 10 minutes of the race so far. As you can see, Payne is looking to put on quite a bit of pressure onto the back of Wilms at the moment. Let's have a look at that Bentley. Oh, they've got a touch in the Woodwards. Oh, so because I think Wilms probably braked a little bit too early there, and that probably put Payne off a little bit. Probably wasn't expecting that, or wasn't expecting him to be on the brakes for so long. He's evidently backed off, and the weight distribution of the car has changed slightly, and that caused him to go offline. Unfortunately, that's also caused him to lose position, because Neil Woodward, as you can see in the McLaren there, who's also off track, so he needs to get back on. He's got to be running slow as we come up towards the corkscrew. Is he going to outbrake himself and lose control? He does push slightly deep, but he's kept hold of it nicely, and those three all file through behind. So Wilms is doing fantastically well at the moment in 16th place. He should be, which I'm sure he is, should be very happy with that. So Michael Races is still up top. That gap to Hughes has come down. It was 4.1 seconds, it's now 3.7. Tadema's still running in third place. So there's your podium sitters currently for this race. And Van Ries, well, he wants that position back from Tadema, doesn't he? We saw him make that mistake earlier on, and you can see in the background there just how close these two are. Need to be keeping an eye on this. Porsche on Porsche action. Don't say that very often, do you? And Sergio Oz is only a 10th and a half behind Kerekes. That's for 11th and 12th. That looks like a close battle as well, so we will have a look at that. But this is your closest battle on track, and more importantly, it is for podium position. So you can't really, well, we can move off it, which we will, but only if something terrible happens. Into the last corner then. Really important to get on the throttle early. You've got the full straight now down towards the Andretti hairpin. You want to be maximising that as much as possible. You know, they're in the same machinery, so it's only going to be setups that's slightly different, aero potentially as well. So we'll see how these two shake out. It's now gone up to nearly half a second, and Michael's eked out his lead at the front by another 3/10 on that last lap. So we need to keep our eyes firmly on that. Where else have we got? So, Eli, Kerekes and Sergio. So, Albuquerque's had an issue there. Albuquerque's ended up in the pits, and that's Chris Schneider next to him, I believe. Yeah, Chris Schneider's in the pits. Finkbean is in the pits as well. So, they look like they are done and dusted. So, the 83 Aston of Freeman is currently running in 13th place at the moment, trying to chase down Thompson in his silk-cut liveried McLaren. Quite a way to go to catch him though. So closest battle on track is still Tadema and Van Ries for 3rd and 4th. Half a second between them. It's always good to give other people airtime, because everybody, and there's Ivanov, one Aston to the other in the 95 Aston, in for Beach Dean. Okay, so that's the stock name of the car. I don't think I've had the pleasure of commentating on Ivanov before. So good luck, buddy. Keep at it. You're doing really well. You're in 15th place. It's a quick grid. It's not easy. It is not an easy track. And that Aston, I mean, I do really like the Aston on PC. Not so much on console, but yeah, we'll see what he can do. So what is he? 2.6 behind Films. And he's quite secure in terms of the gap behind him. Payne in his Bentley is a bit further down. Dow's off the track again. What have you done, Dow? Oh dear. So Dow's had himself a little wander again. So maybe those issues, I'm not sure. Oh, and he split it again. Oh dear. So I don't know what the issues were with Dow at the start of the evening. Michael does another quickest lap there, 1:22.752. That's a smidge quicker, I do believe, than his qualifying pole time. So that's good going from him. But again, if he uses also cut that deficit down by 3/10. So the last lap was a 23.3 by Michael and a 23.1 from Hughes. So slightly quicker on that last lap. We'll see if he can eat into that. Tadima and Rees are still 3rd and 4th. Cameron Martin's doing an excellent job in 5th place. Have a look at Cameron. There we go. In the 27 Beamer, doing a great job in 5th place, beaten 5 seconds further down the road. You can see him just coming through there in his Aston onto the start-finish straight. Goswell in 8th place. Again, very solid performance by Goswell. Eli's managed to move up slightly into 9th. Kerikez is in the top 10. I think when you get involved with any form of league racing on PC, generally the standard is probably higher. I'm not going to say massively high, because we've had a lot of people have come across on the PS5. Haven't seen any of the PS5 racing. Check it out on the channel, the Taco Tuesday stuff. Absolutely fantastic racing. I do genuinely believe they are the quickest console racers. Genuinely believe that. But a few of them are ported over here now, so they're getting themselves up to speed and are competitive already, which just shows it's a good proving ground at FRL if you're interested. Kerikez 10th, Sergio 11th, Thompson is now 12th, Freeman 13th, and we've got everyone's quite stagnant in terms of the gaps at the moment, but Woodward and Sokolov are having quite a battle, so let's go and check them out. So Albuquerque has come back out, so obviously just came in the 194 Beamer. Had a good race last week. I was quite impressed with him, so he's obviously fixed the car and come back out. And then we've got Manum is still in the pits. Mr. Williams is still running. There you go, in the 41 AMG with that beautiful Formula Racing League logo, livery, I should say. Beautiful car, beautiful car. And we've got Dow who's having a bit of a troubled time at the moment in his Aston. I'm sure he won't thank me for catching all those spins he's done. And Lurchies is off track as well. What's happened to Lurchies? He's doing a bit of a replay and he's just pulled over. Interesting. So I don't know if he's run out of fuel. You can see his bonnet's not looking too happy there. So that's unfortunate. And it looks like Woodward and Sokolov have just literally swapped places. Do we get a replay on that? Let's have a quick look. It was going through the corkscrew. So that's a brave move. So maybe Neil's got himself a little bit too deep in there, because you saw he was pretty wide, but he is looking like he's certainly trying to get that one back. He has got that move back. So great little scrap between Woodward and Sokolov here, and this is for 17th and 18th. And Payne's just in front of them. Payne there looks, and Wilms has had a spin. Quite clearly saw that. There's Ivanov. And Ivanov did really well, actually. Really well to avoid that. We saw it as it was just happening there. So that's unfortunate for Cascanova, aka Wilms. That's really unfortunate for him. So we do have some good little battles going on all over the track at the moment, as Michael pushes another quickest lap, the 22.497. So his gap has now increased to 4.6 seconds. We've got just under 8 minutes left of this initial sprint race this evening, and that's looking pretty secure. Tadima's looking, well, Hughes is looking secure in second at the moment. You can see him just coming through the background there, and then Tadima's now got a 1.1 1.2 second gap back to Van Ries. So evidently that little battle, again, ignore that, that little battle was obviously sort of the gap is more than big enough for breathing space. Yeah, I mean, 4 5 tenths is enough for breathing space as Dow and Michael come together, and Dow keeps out of the way. Well done. That allows Michael to take the line through there. Let's have a quick pop into the live chat. Yeah, binned it. I know, I saw Lurchie's 1 minute damage and back out to finish. Good, mate. Definitely get back out to finish. Yes, the bonnet was looking rather creased, I must say. So, Michael today, where's our next closest battle that we've got? Thompson and Freeman. That looks interesting. Goswell looks like he's had a moment there. So, Eli is still in 9th, although my timing screen is saying 8th, so we'll see when that changes. I'm going to go by my timing screen. It's properly real live timing. And we've got Thompson and Freeman. That looked like it was going to be pretty close, didn't we? So Ian Thompson, the 55 McLaren there, racing for Chica Motorsport. Again, one of the old school. Who's that off? That's Sergio. So Sergio Oz has definitely had a moment there. Probably taken, I'm not going to go back 30 seconds, but I'm assuming, considering where we are on track, I mean, Sergio probably took a little bit too much through, or maybe clipped the curb or sausage curb coming out of that particular corner, and that's probably got a tank slapper on, and that's why he's ended up where he is, unfortunately. So, bad news for him, good news for Ian. And what about Ivanov? So Ivanov is still within striking distance and has Payne for company. So we're going to do a sound comparison now. What have we got left on this? We've got just over 5 minutes. So we're going to listen to the Aston. It's just deep and angry, and I love the Aston. I love the sound on that Aston. And then we're going to have a listen to the Boatley in a moment. I love it. Oh, Ivanov gets himself out of shape, takes a little bit of dirt there, and that's going to slow him down, and that's allowed Payne to skip through, which he does, and he says thank you very much indeed. So that was an opportunistic move, but that's what's going to happen when you're in sprint racing. And we've got that other one, we've got a slow going Sergio in front there, so just hope Sergio doesn't get in the way too much. Evidently that Mercedes is got some issues at the moment. So Payne and Ivanov, they haven't given up their scrap, have they? Not at all. So it's fun. Again, one of the amazing things when it comes to sim racing and getting involved, especially within FRL, it's always, I know there will be incidents, of course there will, especially at Laguna, but generally it's really good, well-mannered, yeah, clean racing. And Payne and Ivanov are having a great scrap at the moment. They'll be having a fantastic time on a Tuesday evening, and they're in 14th and 15th place. So they're not picking up huge points. You know, they're not saying, oh, I'm going to win this championship, but they're having a really good scrap. Yeah, and they're both being pushed really hard, which is exactly what we want to see. Exactly what we want to see. So in the pits, so race done for Chris Schneider, Finkainer and Manum, as we can see there at the bottom on the left hand side. Oh, and Payne, oh dear, gets all out of shape again, so he's off the track now, and that allows Ivanov to push back through. That was in the same place that it happened to Ivanov in the last lap, so they are both really pushing. But I did also say in the lap guide, that left hander on the run up towards the corkscrew, you've got to be brave through there. It is literally a case of, as Payne takes to the escape road there, well I should say, cuts that a little bit, you've got to be brave through there. Really got to be brave as Michael comes through the corkscrew. He's about to put a lap on films. Yeah, you've just got to turn him in. As soon as you get that braking and turning point, you're a blip, you're down a gear, and you're throwing the car left. You have to use the divot in the road to help hook the car round, and you've just got to get that if you're offline by a couple of millimetres there, you're going to be pushing wide, and we know there's nothing out wide other than gravel. So you've got to take that chance, and that's what we've seen happen twice for both Payne and Ivanov in those previous laps. So 2 minutes 36 seconds left of this initial sprint race this evening, and it has been a fantastic race. Michael is still leading, Hughes is second, 4.5 seconds down the road. Tadema's still holding the third podium position at the moment. Van Ries, that challenge is definitely over. Remember, those two were two tenths swapping positions. That's now 3.5 seconds, unfortunately. Cameron Martin's had a really solid race so far today, in 5th, so well done to him, the 27 Beamer. John is in 6th place, under a second behind him. Kerikez and Goswell look like they're going to develop. Let's get onto that whilst we're discussing where everyone else is. So Beaton's in 6th. Goodway, aka Crazies, is a very comfortable 7th place. Eli's got up to 8th, which is good to see. We're currently watching the battle for 9th and 10th, so this is Goswell in the number 8 AMG, closely followed by Kerikez in his Honda. Let's go on board with Kerikez. I think the Honda's quite an underused car within ACC, actually. If anyone ever has wondered, well, you know, which cars are the most popular, which ones suit what tracks, on my YouTube channel, which you can see at the bottom of your screen there on the ticker, have a look on there. There's a little small sort of bite-sized series called COMMS Cars, and that is where I literally go through each individual car at the moment in the GT3 section, give my own humble opinions in terms of pros, cons, where the car is good, where the car isn't good. Always happy to take comments, criticisms, ideas, all those great things. So this is the battle for 9th and 10th as we are into the last minute of the race. So Michael crosses the line, it will be for the final time. Too much curve there from Kerikez. So that would have caused him to break traction, which has allowed, you can see, it's not a huge gap, but that has allowed Goswell to get a little bit more of a gap, a little bit of breathing space. So 1, 2 and 3 seem pretty secure. Van Ries, Martin, Beaton, Goodway, Poe, we're on the back of Goswell at the moment in 9th place with Kerikez trying to make that last ditch challenge. Freeman's still in 11th place. Sergio Oz is in 12th, even on 13th, and Payne in 14th. Those two are catching up with Oz quite rapidly there. Vilms, and that was James Williams? Who we could see was definitely not on track. It was James Williams, unfortunately, in the 41 AMG. So then we've got Vilms in 15th, Thompson 16th, Sokolov. Wow. Didn't even tell me he was on the last lap, did he? Anyway, so there we go. I'm going to cut to the front. Michael races. Well done, buddy. Claps for you. 25 minutes of pure adrenaline-fueled racing. So Michael takes the win. Congratulations. Lock and load, 2nd place. Well done to you, buddy. Podium straight away, straight back in. And then we've got Tadema is your 3rd individual on the podium. Well done. Van Ries in 4th. Cameron Martin 5th place. Beaton 6th. Goodway 7th. Eli is going to finish. Eli's just coming across there. You've got to get all out of shape. No wall. That's a shame. So Eli 8th, Goswell 9th, so managed to hold off Kerikez there for 9th and 10th place. And then we've got Freeman. Where's Freeman? So Freeman's just coming across the line for 11th. Sergio's going to be 12th, even off 13th. And Payne, well, even off and Payne, that could be a race to the line. Where are they? Look at that, right, going for it. Oh, we've only got 2 corners left to go, boys. Takes it wide, that's going to allow Payne. That is going to allow Payne to get alongside as we go to the final corner. Of course they're going to do a little love tap, little door bang there, drag race to the finish, and it looks like Ivanov is going to hold 13th place. Well done, boys. Well done, nice racing there, right to the end. I told you they were going to have a fantastic time, right till the last second. So Payne 14th, Vilms 15th, Thompson 16th, Sokolov finished 17th. Dow had quite a few issues in that race, finished 18th, well done. Woodward 19th, Williams we saw had a couple of issues as well in 20th place. Lurch is 21st, Albuquerque 22nd, and then Manum, Vinkbeiner and Chris Schneider 23rd, 24th, 25th did not finish. And there you go, that was an absolutely manic 25 minutes. Nothing else to be expected from the sprint series though, at all. How did you like that in the live chat? Let me know. 7 of you still with me, which is great. If you haven't pressed like, please do. You know, it means a lot to what we're trying to do on the channel here, and the amount of time and effort that goes in. But yeah, that was pretty impressive. That was pretty impressive. I'm going to swap out some coffee, and some water, I do believe. Right, anybody who is... Oh no, that's all good. Right, let's come out of that. Turn to garage. So Michael takes another win. So 16 degrees on ambient and track temp there. So obviously what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the second 10-minute qualifying session, which will obviously set the grid for a race 2. Again, another 25 minutes, exactly what we've just had. We've seen some epic racing there, especially with Payne and Ivanov right at the end. That was fantastic. I'm hoping Down, James and co don't have the same issues. I'm hoping Chris Schneider doesn't have any issues either. You can see everyone's just having a little bit of a chat there at the moment, which is cool to see. Anyone who's watching on the YouTube channel, excuse me there, let me know. Obviously I had some issues here with the server earlier on and missed some of the other sessions, so I don't want to do that again. Nothing happening at the moment. We should have moved into qualifying though again, so let me know guys if there's been an issue here. I don't want to keep jumping in and out of the server because I don't want to upset anything within the server. Obviously the drivers will hunt me down. I'm going to do it again just in case. I mean, it happened earlier, so let's assume it's happening again. So let's go in there. Let's connect to that. Let's go back in, see if they're in qualifying. Nope. So we're just waiting for the second session to get underway. And someone's going down the grid there. Disconnected from that. Right, here we go. So, qualifying underway. Who's out there? Van Ries is out first. Let's get on board with Van Ries. So, Van Ries first out the back for the second qualifying session. Again, 10 minutes again. The track's actually become... Oh no, he's come back in the pits, fair enough. The track's actually got cooler, and that's probably why he's come in to make a change there. It's 15 degrees on track, also 15 degrees ambient, so I am interested to see what Van Ries can do, but JR is now first out the bag. Come on JR, let's see what you can do. He will be very, very keen, that's why he's got out first. He's got to be really keen to make sure that he can get a good couple of laps in, because I know he finished in second place, I know he was 4.5 seconds behind Michael, but he will definitely have felt, well, could I, you know, if he hadn't managed to have a 2.5-3 second lead before he got that move done on Van Ries, then he might have had a shot at him. So I love seeing these little rivalries develop, and this one will be a good one because they are both very, very quick drivers. 4 in the live chat at the moment. So we've had a fantastic first race of the evening. Really looking forward to seeing what these guys can punch out in qualifying. 22, what do we have? 22.7 Michael set on the last one. So down into the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Just scrubbed a little bit too hard there. See how much difference that makes to him overall. It's always interesting to watch from this particular angle because you obviously can get to see the steering inputs on the steering wheel to understand, you know, is that car smooth, planted. You know, is the car got a little bit too much slip angle on there? Are we making too many tiny corrections? And here's that left-hander we were talking about earlier, very nicely dealt with. So this looks like a very steady lap at the moment from JR, which is all you need. You know, if steady is generally quick, deals with the corkscrew nicely, then off the power, just get it tucked in as soon as you feel you're going to hit the apex. We get straight back on the power again. Penultimate corner, nicely done. No dramas as yet, touch wood. Right, let's see what the first time is. I think he's got more time in it than that, because there was certainly in the first corner. Let's see what happens. So 1:23.9, definitely going to have more time in it than that. Also, don't forget, I mean, you know, we could make the assumption that, well, he's been out, hasn't he? And he's done he's just done a warm-up lap. Well, it's a bit different on PC in terms of the tyre model and how everything works. It normally takes probably 2 laps, maybe even 3, to get the tyres really in that optimum window, which is why it's not just about the track ramping up, it's also about the tyres getting in their operating window. And that's why you generally see the quicker times come later on in the qualifying session, or certainly once these guys have done 2 or 3 laps. So we shall see. And Finkbeiner says, well, I don't need a warm-up lap. He goes straight in the Porsche with a 22.9. Van Ries in his Porsche is only a 10.5 behind, and Tadima in his Porsche is 3/10 off the pace. So we've got a Porsche fest at the moment in the top 3 positions. Sergio Oz, half a second in 4th. Goodway 8/10 off in his McLaren in 5th. We're on board, well, we're looking at Hughes at the moment. He's currently in 6th place. I'm assuming this is going to be a quick lap from him. Chris Schneider 7th in his Beamer. Kerrikes 8th. Woodward 9th. And then we've actually, so who's popped a time in there? John's popped a time in there in his Aston. Let's see if JR can improve. He's 9th, almost a second off the pace at the moment. Does improve by 3/10. So he's currently still 6/10 off the pace. Where is Mr. Races? Mr. Races is not set a time yet. Penultimate corner, no, not penultimate corner. He's got to be on a quick lap now. That's a good time. That is a good time from. Oh, Van Ries goes quickest with a 22.695. So the Porsche guys are certainly laying down a gauntlet at the moment. Let's see if their German compatriots in the Beamer can do anything about that. As Michael goes through the corkscrew, is that clean? It is clean. Sparks flying everywhere. Again, absolutely love to see this stuff. 5 still with us at the moment, which is great. Right, penultimate corner. Let's see. Ooh. Did that invalidate? And who's behind him? JR Localo's just behind him as well. So these two are, well, they're just having a bit of fun, aren't they, really? Right, Michael crosses the line and goes 3rd. 4/10 almost off the pace. And you can see there that Localo's improved as well by probably a 10th. So he's gone up to 5th. Interesting. So we've also got an Aston in the mix there. John Beaton's put his Aston currently in 4th place. So it's all happening at the moment. Who are we expecting to be up there? Where's Eli? What's going on with Eli? Eli doesn't seem to be loving Laguna at the moment. We'll see what happens on this one, and then we need to focus, I think, on your top. Wow, Van Ries has gone quicker again. That is a quick time, a 22.4. That is a very quick time. We've still got 3.5 minutes left of the qualifying session. It's Eli slow. Looks like it slows right down there. That didn't look like a normal sort of slowdown, so I'm assuming Eli's just setting himself up for a quick one. Yeah, no change there. So Van Ries, you can see Finkbeiner is pushing half a second off in qualifying. That's a huge gap. And Van Ries has certainly got some motivation from race 2 by the look of it. Freeman's doing really well up there in the 83 Aston. That's really, really good going. and Van Rees goes into the pits, as you can see. So 2 and a bit minutes left. He'll get back out and get another lap in. Remember, if you cross the start-finish line before the flag drops, you can obviously complete that lap, as is with most of them. But we've got the top 10 are covered by just a second at the moment. That's 10 individuals. Again, you've got to think about the time you've got to put into this. Not just about setups, but it's just that practice, the braking zones, the turning points, acceleration zones, how you trail brake, how you modulate the throttle. So you can't just stamp on the throttle. We know that. So all these skills, as you saw Van Rees just coming out there, Finkbeiner's only 15 thousandths now behind him, so he's really pushing. Michael's only a 10th. Chris Schneider is back in the game, so he's up to 4th. Kerrick's 5th in his Honda. Cameron Martin, that pace around sort of 5th, 6th seems to suit him quite well today. Freeman's 7th, beaten Benton's in 8th. Hughes is 9th, so lock and load needs to get a shift on in his 212 Beamer. And then Tadima, remember, was running in the top 3. It's currently 8 tenths. 8 tenths down as we're on board watching Finkbeiner at the moment. So again, I was just saying, you've really got to think about all of those different things that come together to create a lap. Yeah, all of those tiny little things that you have to do at exactly the right time and in exactly the right sequence to create a decent lap. You've got 12 now, separated by 1 second. Come on, that's epic. That is absolutely epic. 12 races separated by a second. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so Oz is that 12th individual as Finkbeiner crosses the line. Probably going to get one more lap in. We are going to get another lap in. No improvement there according to the timing screens. So Michael Tadima's moved up. So Tadima was 8 tenths down. He's now just over 3. So moved himself up to 4th spot. So Michael Races is currently the imposter in that little Porsche party going on at the moment. Anyone else moving? Hughes is down into 10th. Eli is 11th. Eli's decided to get involved now. Eli's just gone 5th, 4 tenths off. This is interesting. And Finkbeiner's currently quickest in sector 1 at the moment, setting some purple times there. Eli's crashed after completing that lap. So Martin's down to 9th, Freeman 10th, Hughes 11th, Oz 12th, Goswell is currently 13th. I think that was Van Rees off the track. It is indeed, so he's not going to be able to improve. It is all now down to this man. So let's get actually on board with him as we finish the lap. This is it. This is it. Michael Races decides, well, I'm not saying a word. He's gone provisional pole with a 22-2. A 22-2. Pull that one out of the bag, dude. Well done. As Finkbeiner then currently in 3rd place, maybe could get 2nd. Depends how much the track's evolved as well. To be fair, it doesn't improve. So Heats is in 2nd place at the moment. Tadima, does Tadima improve? No, Tadima's put it in the pit. So I think with that is your qualifying session for race 2. Congratulations again, Michael Races with a 1:22.277, a blistering lap time there, and he's still out. He wants to set a quicker one, even though he's decided enough's enough. He needs to save those tyres. Van Rees will start alongside him for 2nd place in the Porsche. Then Finkbeiner will start 3rd in the Porsche. Tadima will start in 4th place in the Porsche. You getting what I'm saying here? And then we've got Hughes 5th, Eli 6th, Chris Schneider 7th, all in BMWs. John is in 8th place, Kerrick's 9th, Cameron Martin is going to start in 10th place. And let's just escape out of that for a moment. 1 second, ladies and gents. So we've got up to 10th. Yep. So 10th place, Cameron Martin 11th, Sean Freeman 11th, Sergio 12th, Goswell's 13th, Crazy's 14th, James Williams, nice qualifying from you there, James, up in 15th place, Evanoff 16th, Thompson 17th, Woodward's going to be 18th, Payne's going to be 19th, and then Wilms 20th, Lurchie's 21st. Albuquerque's going to start in 22nd place, Dow 23rd, Sokolov, and then Marnum bringing up the rear. So, there's a bit of blue language on the chat there. I think I'll get rid of that. Thanks very much. No offence, guys, but you know. Wow, that was a hell of a qualifying session. I really did think we were going to have a total Porsche fest. But Michael put in a stonking lap at the end there. And I'm very intrigued to see Hughes, Poe and Chris Schneider again. All really rapid drivers in their Beamers. And evidently the Beamer has pace because there's one on pole position. And then you've got a little clutch of Porsches there, which just seem, just the way that car does handle, the way she does take the corners, if you can get hooked up at a track like Laguna, where it is very much dependent on keeping the momentum going, you can see why those Porsches are doing so well. And then we've got Aston, Honda, Beamer. So we've got a good mix, but as King Phoenix was saying at the top of the show, no Ferraris present. None present whatsoever. So we're in the wait time, just under a minute left, then we're going to have our formation up as we did earlier on, and then that's it. It's absolutely go for it, 25 minutes. And we've got a quick grid. We've got a very quick grid. Remember, the top 12 were separated? That's a new word. We're separated by just 1 second. That's impressive. So you've got to have 12 individuals there who are going to be running extremely close. I can't predict what's going to happen. I have no idea. Let's just hope it's clean. And I think what I would say for Finkbeiner at the moment, obviously he had a great start in the last race and then got into a situation where obviously he had a slight issue. Everybody wants to do well. Of course you do. Yeah. Everybody wants to enjoy the race, have some fun. Maybe win, get a podium. That's what they're all here for. Hence, the podium chasers, as I like to coin everybody that gets involved in sim racing. But maybe, even though it's a sprint race, maybe lap 1, lap 2 isn't the time for crazy moves from anybody on this grid, because it's a relatively short lap, and if you get tagged at the beginning, you're going to have to sit and wait. You're going to have to let the field bypass you. And then you've got yourself basically a 22-minute hot stint session, haven't you? And nobody wants that. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, so formation lap is underway, as you can see, everybody. And once this one is done, so just make their way round the middle of the lap now and the run up towards the corkscrew. Just a little bit of weaving there. Look, he's on the brakes, off the brakes, so just putting the heat cycle through, just making sure those tyres are in the right window. Obviously he's going to be dragging those brakes as well, just making sure we've got enough heat in there. You don't want to be having undercooked brakes. Obviously you don't want to have overcooked brakes either. You don't want to have undercooked brakes going into the first couple of corners here. You need to make sure that everything is just absolutely spot on. I'm nervous. Oh, I mean, I thought Finkbeiner was gonna spin on the corkscrew then for a moment. I'm sure he did as well. We check his heart rate. I'm sure it'll be a little bit quicker. No doubt. So Michael's your pole sitter again. So led from pole in race 1 and took the win again. Has put it on pole for race 2 with a ridiculously quick time, 22.2. But the little pack of Porsches just behind, they're definitely going to have something to say. We get the lovely low rumble of 25 GT3 cars all coming onto the start and finish straight for the beginning of race 2. This is the Formula Racing League Super Sprint Series, remember, season 1 round 5. Race 1 definitely delivered. Let's see what race 2 does as they wait. And they wait. And they go. That's got to go green. They're green. Race 2 is underway. 25 minutes of absolute chaos underway as they go piling down towards the Andretti hairpin. Michael's got away nicely again. You see everyone's trying to pick out pick out their spot there. Let's get through there clean, guys and girls. So the first 5, 6, 7 they do. Maybe a little touch. No, no one's touched it. Someone just went slightly off track. And someone's just tagged. Who was that? That was Cameron Martin. Literally just tagged the back of John there. You saw that in the rear quarter. It wasn't a huge tag, but it was enough. Oh, and Van Ries gets all out of shape there. Gets a massive swapper on, and he's going to lose pace. So he has lost pace. He's being swamped at the moment. So Eli's trying to make a move on him, and JR's lost a position there. So he wants that one back at the moment as we have a look at this. Fantastic racing at the start of this. So JR's managed to take that position back from Eli, and we've got the Mercedes absolutely flying up there. Who is that? Is that Oz? Is that Sergio? Absolutely flying up towards the corkscrew. We've got, okay, JR takes a little bit of dirt there on the way down, and that's got to open up the door again to Eli. So Eli's pushing hard. As we can see, everyone up front's doing okay, and it looks like Finkbeiner is pretty close onto the back of Michael there, as Van Ries looks like he pushed wide. Did Van Ries push wide? So Finkbeiner was rapid in qualifying, we saw that, and he's looking like he wants to keep that pressure on Michael Races. Definitely going to have a point to prove from race 1. Had the pace, just unfortunately get into an incident there. As we can see, Tadima moves up into 3rd place, and Van Ries is probably picked up maybe a little bit of damage, or can't get the dirt off those tyres, because he is now massively under pressure from JR Lock and Load. If we go on this other view, actually, we can see the train coming up behind. So that's John and Eli. So John's moved up into the position as well, which is great. Eli's in 7th. Goswell's moved himself in his Merc, so it was his Merc then. He's moved himself up there to 8th place. Chris Schneider's 9th. You can see those two having a good battle as well. Let's go on the back of Goswell. See his battle with Chris Schneider. You can see the light. You can see the lights flashing from the back, from the back of Goswell's Merc there onto the front splitter of the Beamer, which is fantastic to see. And then we've got Dave Goodway in the McLaren as we come through. So Dave Goodway's putting on a lot of pressure there onto the back of Chris Schneider. So Michael's still leading. He's got a gap of 6/10 now. Tadima's 3rd. Van Ries hasn't given up hope on that one. He's only 3/10 behind. And then we've got only a 10th. Blimey neck, guys. This is a great scrap at the moment as we're watching Goodway putting the pressure on to Chris Schneider. This is for 9th and 10th. He looks like he got a good run out of there onto the start-finish straight. We're going to just stick on board this for a second, see if we've got any type of move coming into the Andretti hairpin. Crazies goes deep, so he's looking for a switch. He's looking to get the car tucked in. He does get the car tucked in. Is that going to be a move? Doesn't quite come off. Chris Schneider places that BMW just beautifully there, and that means Crazies had to stay behind for another go. But look at this. Absolutely amazing battles we've got going on up and down the grid at the moment. It looks like they may have got a bit of testosterone out of the system, as Goswell took a little bit of dirt there in race 1 again. So Chris Schneider has to go defensive because Dave is really putting the pressure on, really putting that pressure on at the moment. Fantastic to see as we get on board for the TV camera, if you like. You can see a slight extra correction there. You can see what's going on in terms of the steering wheel on the left hand side. Michael's still leading it. His gap's now up to 1.3 seconds of go through the corkscrew yet again for the 3rd time. Chris Schneider gets a little bit sideways there, but manages to collect that Beamer. Crazies is just applying the pressure nicely, really applying that pressure nicely. So I think Bone is still 2nd, Tadima's 3rd. Those two, the top 2 have checked out at the moment. There's over a 4-second gap back to Tadima, and then you've got Van Ries, Hughes beaten Poe, Goswell, and they have touched. Who's that who stopped there? So that looked like that. So Goswell got turned around on the start-finish straight there, unfortunately, and we've now got 3 abreast. Oh no, who did that? That was Cameron Martin, just pulled across there. Just pulled across into Chris Schneider. That was really unfortunate, and then we've got another one off, so that is... Kerekes is off. Look at it, it's absolute chaos. Goodway's involved, Ivanov's involved. You've got 2 FRL guys involved there. I told you this was going to be a bit of a chaotic race, and it was beautifully clean up until that point, as Michael sets a quickest lap for 22 flat. Wow, 22 flat for Michael. That is really unfortunate. I've really been impressed with the racing there. Goodway. So now you've got a real concertina effect going on there. James Williams is up into 10th. John is 11th. Then we've got Albuquerque, who's scrapping away with Woodward. So you've got 3 FRL livery cars there, all scrapping together. So we've got some really good... We do have some great racing going on. You can't deny that as they're running up the hill yet again. Let's have a look back through the corkscrew. James has certainly got the bit between his teeth. John's putting the pressure all over him, and we've got someone else turn around there. That's Freeman in the 83 Aston. They're both... Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. It looks like the 2 FRL boys have just taken each other out through the corkscrew. There is everything happening in this race so far. Michael's keeping his nose clean, which is probably the best policy up in first place. A 1.4 second gap back to this chap who's really impressing me this evening, the 220 Porsche. Mika Finkbeiner, as I say that, oh wow, he got a swapper on there but saved that. That was very, very good driving. And then we got quite a gap back to Tadema. So Tadema and Van Ries find themselves exactly as they did in the last race. And obviously Mr. Hughes is also all over the back of these two, so he's keeping them honest. Eli, as you can see, is just coming around in the background, and then Cameron Martin, Goodway and Albuquerque Queriquez makes up your top 10. Evenoff is in 11th. Dow, Evenoff and Dow, well, we've got another great scrap going on there, haven't we? So last time we went on to Dow, there was an issue. Wowza, guys and girls. Look at this. We've got about 12 cars. Payne's involved there as well. This is amazing. Goswell's in there, Thompson, and they've got 3 in front of these two. This is absolute chaos, but of the highest order. This is fantastic. Brilliant racing we've got going on. I know there's issues going on, but I mean, I'm smiling. I know they're probably not all smiling. So we've got Thompson and Silkcut just behind, and then we've got Goswell, and we know Goswell is rapid. You know, he was right up in there in that top 5, 6, 7 at the beginning, and then I think Cameron. So it couldn't have been Cameron Martin because he's still up in 7th place. There was certainly one individual who was the initial domino that we saw that just triggered utter chaos and panic in the field. Everyone started getting excited, thinking, well, this is my chance, man. I'm going to make up a load of places here, and it didn't happen for everybody. So we've got this quartet battling away, absolutely breathless. 17 minutes left, so we haven't even had that long of the race, really. Michael's still got the quickest time in first place at 1:22 flat. Great pace from him. Absolutely great pace from him at the moment. Where else we got? So let's get back with Tadema. Tadema, Van Ries and JR are having their scrap. It looks like Tadema and Van Ries are just managing to get away from Hughes a little bit there. So 1.5 second gap back from Van Ries to him as we come through the corkscrew yet again. And Van Ries will want that podium massively. I mean, he was unlucky in the last race. I'm sure he wants to try and get one in this race, but Tadema's got some fantastic pace of his own. He's not going to give that position up, certainly. Again, look at them though, absolutely nose to tail. And then we've got the 2 Beamers of Hughes and Eli. Cameron Martin's running 7th, Goodway 8th, Queriquez 9th. Then we've got Albuquerque, Evenoff and Payne. Evenoff and Payne are at it again. 11th and 12th, only a second between those two. Then we've got Dow, Williams, Thompson. Oh dear, Tadema goes way too wide into the Andretti hairpin, and that allowed Van Ries to skip through there. So was that done deliberately? No, it wasn't. Oh, Van Ries gets a massive swapper on as we're coming out there again. They're just pushing a little bit too hard at the moment. Any wheel on that dirt, look what's happened. That has allowed this man to get right in the mix with these two. He's now within striking distance massively, so he's probably pretty happy at the moment. I'm expected to see something back in one of his sort of highlight reels that he normally does, of just watching these two scrapping away in the Porsche. One mistake from either of these and they're going to split like the Red Sea. JR's going to be straight through them, I have no doubt whatsoever. No change in your top 2 though. This is the scrap, this is all for the podium. 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Eli is still behind. You can't really see him at the moment, so Eli's not really in the picture on this one. This is a straight fight between these 3. Goodway's 8th. That's a great effort from him so far. Evenoff's got up to 9th. Queriquez, then Payne. Williams is only 10th and a half behind Payne, and then Thompson, Goswell, Dell. Those 4 are still all absolutely together, separated by probably 1.3 seconds between the 4 of them. So some good racing going on further down the field as well as we come in towards the Andretti hairpin yet again. We've got some fantastic racing going on here. Poor old Tadema. Got a feel for him. See, he needs to look behind, but he wants to be looking. My tyres. He obviously just has got eyes on that position there, but he cannot for a second take his eyes off JR behind him, because JR is absolutely rapid and will take an opportunity if it comes his way. Tadimas had to back out of that one. That's going to allow one thing only. He goes defensive. He's just going to park it on that apex there. It's just such a fluid, flowing track. You can't lose momentum anywhere at Laguna. That's the whole purpose, the whole point of what we're saying in the lap guide. As JR, you can't get much closer than that really without a love tap. So great racing between these guys. There's only a 10th in it. Not going to come off this. And we're going to see as JR takes a little bit of dirt there. So they are all pushing really hard. We've got just under 14 minutes left of this 25-minute sprint race, which is the second one we've had this evening, and this is the Formula Racing League Super Sprint Series. So the last lap was a 23.2, best lap at 22.7, so he's got half a second in it. Is he being held up, or is he not? Who knows? And Michael's still just doing what he needs to do out front. Got a 2-second gap now over Finkbeiner now, which is comfortable. It is comfortable. Van Rees third, Tadima fourth, Hughes fifth. We've seen all that. Eli's having a pretty lonely race at the moment in sixth, in the 696 BMW, and then Cameron's a little bit further back from him as well in the 27 BMW. Goodway seems pretty secure after being involved in those incidents earlier. He didn't cause them, but he was involved in them. Ivanov up to 9th, so Ivanov and Kerikez. Ivanov is loving these battles this evening, isn't he? Certainly is. So Ivanov in the Aston versus Kerikez, 9th and 10th in the Honda. Great racing going on between these two, and you can see lurking in the background there James Williams in 11th place, and he's got Thompson, Goswell, Dow and Freeman all behind him, as Ivanov definitely took. Let's go through the corkscrew. They've got to behave. Kerikez flies through the corkscrew. Definitely took too much pace through there, so he had to take a slightly different line there, which has allowed Ivanov to hold the inside line. So he goes back through and takes that position. But now you can see Kerikez is much quicker on the outside, so he swoops through on the outside. That was a absolutely fantastic move, and I want to see that again. He just swooped through on the outside there. Brilliant move. Well done, you Kerikez. Really a fantastic move there. So Kerikez manages to put himself back into 9th place. We know Ivanov will stay the course. We know that. We saw the race that he was having with Payne, which went into the very last corner on the last lap, and it was a drag race to the start-finish line. And that was pretty impressive. So we know he's going to stay the course. We know he's got the pace. All the while these two are battling away, this chap, James Williams, is slowly catching them all. You can see them there. Just move that visor out of the way. That would be quite handy. 1.3 seconds as James gets a little bit of oversteer there. You saw him correct that. Let's see how this Mercedes takes this corner. Throws it in. Okay, the run up towards the corkscrew is definitely getting closer. James goes through, and that's Dave Goodway. Dave Goodway, you saw, was just parked on the left-hand side there, so he's evidently had an issue or something with that aero balance on that McLaren's not quite right. He's evidently lost it. Unfortunate. I think he was looking pretty secure in 8th place now, but he's got to fall down the order, unfortunately. So James is doing a sterling job. Someone's taking out some brake boards there. Well, it's all happening, isn't it? We've got 10 minutes left, 10.5 minutes left of this race. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. Ian Thompson is currently a cork in a bottle between Goswell, Freeman and Dell. We know that he's quick. Chica's quick, but I mean, Goswell's pace has been really good today. Oh, I thought Freeman was going to tag the back of him there. The 83 Aston. There's some great racing going on here. So these three are all together. And who's further back? So Dow is currently 14th. Goodway's dropped to 15th after being in that incident. Then we've got Sokolov 16th. Payne's in the pits. It's unfortunate. Oz is also in the pit, so maybe they've decided to finish the race, or they're going to repair and come back out. Albuquerque is 19th. Then we've got Lurchie's 20th. Ooh, a little bit of dirt there. Wilms is 21st, and Woodward and Chris Schneider, not surprisingly after what happened earlier on, are both sat in the pits. So this race is building to quite a crescendo, as Goswell's just looking for a place there. Who's in that? Let's go, baby. Chris Williams. Good evening to you, young man. I hope you're doing well. Oh my god, that was shocking. Dave, you got to be enjoying this racing though. You must be. And Tartan Army there. Yeah, hello. Well, Doubt is flying the flag. He certainly is, Mr. Chris at the moment. But more interestingly, we need to have a look at the back. We need to have a look at the back of Goswell, as Freeman definitely had a look, didn't he? But that's caused him to back out slightly there. So that, from being right on the bumper of Goswell, he's now, well, a few tenths behind, isn't he? So we've got some really good racing going on here. Michael's still leading at the moment. Michael's got a just under a 2-second lead. That was slightly over 2 seconds, and you can see that Mika has taken the quickest lap of the race at the moment with also a 22 flat, but more importantly a 22.025. Michael's previous fastest lap was a 22.057. So you can see those two are absolutely nailed on the pace. Van Ries is still in third, and then we've got Hughes and Tadema having their scrap. So Hughes has managed to steady. So these three are back at it again. Now JR finds himself in a Porsche sandwich at the moment. Evidently is carrying more pace at the moment. So we've got Van Ries behind. No, Van Ries in front. And where's he going? Tadema looks like he's trying to put on a switcheroo to coming into the Andretti hairpin. You can't take your eyes off this for a moment. It doesn't matter where we look on the grid. We've got these three having a titanic battle, and they have been for the entire race. It's fantastic to watch. Then we've got Williams, Thompson, Goswell. They're still at it. Freeman's dropped off slightly at the moment. We've got racing going on literally everywhere. It was like that for the first 25 minutes, and the second 25 minutes has not disappointed either. What we got left, 7.5 minutes. Anything can happen. Van Ries goes super defensive there. So I'm definitely saying that JR in that Beamer is carrying more grip and more pace at the moment. Very, very certain of that. As you can see, he's up the inside into the corkscrew. So Van Ries, you can't turn in on him there. Did he turn in on him? Well, I think there was definitely a tap, so they definitely touched there. And it's the two Porsches are back at it again. So Van Ries is definitely elbows out today. Definitely is elbows out today. But his fellow Porsche teammate, but fellow Porsche driver, Tadema, well, he's thinking, right, that's JR out the way, maybe for a lap or two. My turn. And I just don't think Van Ries is interested in a second in letting go of this podium place. I don't blame him. Don't blame him. Yeah, it's sprint racing. You've got to go for it. But they are absolutely gunning for each other, aren't they? I hope everybody in the live chat is really enjoying this, because you should be. It's absolutely bonkers. 8 watchers at the moment. If you haven't pressed like, guys, you know what to do. It means a lot to me. It helps with the channel. Gets this type of racing out to everybody else. Remember, this is a super sprint series, so you know there are going to be more knocks and dings because it's sprint racing. We're not thinking about strategies, but Tadema gets all over the gravel there. That's going to have slowed him down a bit, so that's going to pull JR in. You saw in the background there, Eli is not too far off the back of these either, so that's only 3 seconds. Eli could have something to say in this race at the moment. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? Michael's doing his job, and nicely out front. It's now 1.4 seconds though. 5 3/4 minutes left. What are we talking then? So 130-ish, 120, 125 a lap. So we're probably talking another 4 or 5 laps. Keep an eye on that time. So I think Bynett is now 1.6 behind. These two Porsches are still absolutely going for it in terms of the podium. And I think JR is hanging on to the back of them at the moment. He was definitely quicker than them a few laps ago. Then obviously had that little love tap with Van Ries. So I think Hughes is being a little bit cautious at the moment. That's probably what I'd be doing. He's been involved in that scrap. He's been in the middle of it, right? He knows that these two aren't leaving anything on the table, and he's probably thinking to himself, okay, I could have been taken out then in the corkscrew. That could have been my race done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on the pace. I'm going to keep close to them. Look at them in front, they're scrapping. Yeah, they're absolutely scrapping. And I think JR's hoping, like we said earlier on, to have a kind of Red Sea parting moment and for him just to jink through and take both of them. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Fabulous. Anyway, Eli in 6th, Cameron Martin 7th, Kerikez up to 8th now in his 84 Honda. Oh, and we've got someone turned around. That's a Lamborghini. So that's Sokolov in the 44 Lamborghini. You just saw that green Lamborghini, and in the background there again. So he's obviously just turned himself around on the corkscrew, which is unfortunate. So Kerikez 8th, even off 9th, and James Williams top 10. Fantastic from James in the 41 Mercedes. As again, they're scrapping so much. JR is all over the back of them now. So Freeman, Dow's up to 11th. That's fantastic. Freeman 12th. Thompson is in 13th. And then we've got Goswell and Goodway. Those two are nice together as well. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Sokolov, we saw, was just turned around as Tadema goes deep, trying to get a switchback. But that's obviously, again, allowed JR to get onto the back of him. So Tadema is now the one with the issue. He wants Van Ries, but he's got to be aware. He has to be aware that JR is right there on his gearbox and will make a move if one presents itself. So that is good for Van Ries in 3rd place. It means that he's not got to focus 100% now on what's behind him. He's just got to try and be clean for a lap or two and hope these two now decide to have a scrap. Goswell at 2nd, only a 10th behind Thompson. Might have to break and have a look at that. Again, they're all back at it, these guys, all together. So we've got Goswell, Goodway, and who's that in the Bentley? That's Lurchies is involved as well. It doesn't matter where we look on track. We've got really close battles going on. We've only got just under 3 minutes left of this race. I need to push back to these three. There's no disrespect to anyone else. It's been fantastic driving to Tadema. You saw Tadema taking some more dirt there. He's gone for a dive up the inside of Van Ries. Is that complete? That is complete. Look at that. Let's have a quick look at that again. As he got that was an absolute dive, wasn't it? I tell you what, Van Ries had to make sure he was getting out of the way there, and he's defending. You could see in the background. You could see. Oh, did they touch? I'm not sure if they did touch, but Van Ries has just been nudged out the way slightly there by JR. So JR's put himself up to 4th place. He's now hunting down Tadema. So Van Ries is all over the back of him. Van Ries has just gone from 3rd to 5th in the space of 2 corners, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a little bit hot under the collar right now, if not saying a few expletives, not necessarily at any of the drivers, just the situation. So he's pushing hard. Oh, Van Ries, that's so unlucky, dude. But you can't deny the quality of the driving that we're watching up front here. And the gap between Michael and Finkbeiner is now half a second between 1st and 2nd place. So not only have we got this absolutely monumental scrap going on for 3rd place, we've now got a race for the lead. We have a race for the lead. 1 minute 30 left. So this could be the final lap of the race. I think we're going to have to stick on this one, ladies and gents, and see what happens. So Finkbeiner, remember, these two absolutely been nose to tail the entire race. They've been exchanging fastest laps. They've now put themselves in a position with 1 lap to go. That Porsche is moving very, very nicely. Michael is hanging on, or is he just taking it easy? I don't know. Let's have a look on board. Oh, we've got someone turned around. Don't move across the grid. Oh, my word. And those two, that was... Wow, we've got to have a look at that again, haven't we? From the onboard. Let's see them as they split. That was ridiculous. Yeah, we know the leader's on the final lap. I could have told you that ages ago anyway, so let's get back on board. Right, we don't have far to go. Last time through the corkscrew, they've got to make it. Tadema, Hughes and Van Ries are all still together. We will go back to them once this has sorted itself out. So a couple of corners left to go. Michael looks like he's got 7 attempts. That's probably to do with that individual that was in the middle of the track as well. Just obviously that bought him a couple of attempts as we're coming up towards the final corner. So Michael Races gets the nose tucked in. We're on board of Finkbeiner at the moment, and these two are going to finish the race 1 and 2. Michael Races, fantastic. Well done again, that man. It's saying they're still racing. Well, by my calculations, they finished the race because Michael was leading. They're still racing. Okay. Not sure what's happened there on the timing screen. So Michael's still leading by 8 tenths now. And then we've got Tadema, Hughes and Van Ries are all... Have they changed? Well, there's Hughes. Oh, what's happened there then? So Tadema has got himself more of a gap, as has Van Ries. And JR's now 2.6 off the pace. So whether he thought the race was done or whether there's been an incident between them. Obviously, I was too busy watching the top 2 racing, so we've missed that, which is unfortunate. Eli's still in 6th place. Keep our eye on these boys. Right, this will be the last time through the corkscrew. So can Michael just hold it together for this last few corners? I'm sure he can. Takes a little bit of dirt there. That gives Finkbein a tiny little bit of hope, and another bit of dirt there. Michael's got to spot this last braking point. Gets it done. Gets it tucked in. That should be the race in the bag for Michael. And Finkbein and Michael, congratulations, guys! Fantastic race. Really fantastic racing there by those two. Well done. Thanks for the flash. You see Goodway's in the pits there on the back. So Tadema and Van Ries are going into the last corner. Still no quarter given by these two. It's been the same for 25 minutes. They cross the line. Tadema takes the final podium position. Congratulations to you, Van Ries. Fantastic race. I know you were in 3rd place for most of that race and then dropped to 5th, got back to 4th. Fantastic race though. JR finishes in 5th place. Well done to you. And Eli crosses the line in 6th and decides to give the wall a little bit of a love tap. If we go a bit further back down the grid, we've got Cameron Martin coming across in the 27 Beamers, going to finish in 7th. Kerriquez is still going, just coming across the final, around the final corner. Kerriquez is going to finish 8th. And then we've got Ivanov and James Williams scrapping into the last corner for 9th and 10th. So again, Ivanov's been involved, hasn't he? Massively in both races. Great racing. Well done to you, Ivanov, in 9th. James Williams, fantastic run from you in 10th place, buddy. Goswell looks like Goswell had again, really great pace in that number 8 Mercedes. Great pace. Definitely caught up in an issue there. So he's out of position, but he's got to come across and finish in 11th place. Then we've got Dave Goodway. Crazies, again, he was also involved. He's got to finish in 12th. Dal, flying the flag. Let's get on the Haley Cam. Let's see the old Scottish flag, my friend. There you go. There you go, Dal. Well done, you, mate. So Dal's going to finish 13th. Fellow Scot, Ian Thompson, aka Chica, in the 55 McLaren is going to come across and finish 14th. And then Sokolov, 15th. Albuquerque, 16th. Lurchie, 17th. Wilms, 18th. Then we've got Freeman, Payne, Oz, Woodward, and Chris Schneider. And that was a fabulous double header. I'm really enjoying this sprint series. I know for you guys that are driving in it, it's a little bit more jeopardy and there are more incidents, but for us watching, in terms of entertainment, it's all good. Cameron Martin says, so bored watching and driving. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry about that. Chris Vining, gap to P1 is coming out. Yeah, where were you, Chris, tonight? Where were you, mate? I was expecting you in. And Kerriquez says, great comms. Thank you, Coops. You are all more than welcome. Just make sure that you tune in. Obviously, we've got a podcast tomorrow. Friday is obviously the Pure Singular GT3 Fridays, which I will, of course, host again. Guys, start tuning in. Start telling other people to tune in. Like and sub, you know what to do. And we will obviously redo this all next week. I think we're at the Nerbs next week, actually, which is going to be interesting. Well done to the podium again. Michael, great double pole, double race win. I was actually very, very impressed. With Mika. So well done to you. And Tadema, Van Ries and JR. Awesome racing. So guys, thank you all. Everybody in the live chat, thank you for watching. Thank you for any comments. Thank you for any likes. I've been COMMS by Coops as always. And you lot, you just keep bringing that entertainment. And I'm really, really enjoying it. So, for me, I'm done for this evening. I'll see you all next time. COMMS by Coops. Out.